Hello there. Once again, this is Anton from Anton Obey. And I was looking on eBay for some small lots. I was just kind of looking for some AC comics that I don't have. I got a lot of Femforce, Good Girl Art Quarterly, things like that. But I was like, what else does AC make? And I came across the book Phasers, Phase 1 Phasers, and I thought that looked cool. So I was like, well, let me see if I can find some Phase 1 Phaser books for not a lot. AC Comics generally tend to go for more than I like to pay, so I'm pretty picky about how and when I buy them because they're pretty pricey books. But I came across a little lot of Phase 1 Phasers, and I got 2 issues of it, 1 issue of something else, and 2 comics I have never heard of, but are quite interesting independent titles. So I will show those here in a minute. First off, with the Phase 1 Phasers, which I was actually looking for. This is not a book I have read. I have seen it around, but it was just something I wasn't familiar with. And I was like, well, it's AC. I love AC. And I'll get 2 issues of it and see if I can maybe somewhere where, if they're real cheap, maybe pick up another issue or 2 of it. But yeah, these look crazy. Like, she just comes apart. It looks like he comes apart too. So I don't know what the power is or what the deal is, but it's very interesting looking. These people just separate like springs, like slinky dogs. But looks a little different than your normal comic, so I was pretty interested to try it out. And now I got to decide if I'm actually going to read an issue or get the rest of them before I even bother reading it. You know how it is. It's hard. And what else do we have here? Space Arc? Never heard of it. Could be something worthwhile. I already got quite a few issues of Night Vale. She's a member of Femforce, so she's not anything I haven't heard of. And, of course, Femforce itself. You know, where they're advertising that, it does make me wonder, what year is this? 1986. So Femforce would have launched in 1985. So it hadn't been out very long when this had just popped up. Certainly looks like a different kind of superhero book. I don't know how I feel about this art. Is that guy getting flatter? I think maybe he is. Either that or the artist was getting lazier. Yep, he is actually shrinking himself down. Okay, I was like, otherwise the artist is crazy. But no, that's intentional. Now that is not something I would expect to see. Batman and Robin in the back of an AC comic. That's a little weird. I'm against it. Either way, that's Phase 1 Phasers issue number 2. This is a 4-issue miniseries. This is number 3. And some of these panels look familiar. I wonder if I have read this book. I don't really remember it. Maybe I've just seen the ads in other books. I don't know, but this bird guy, he bothers me. All of these bird guys bother me. Definitely something wrong with that. I don't like it. Ugh, and they have big long tongues. That doesn't help either. There's one of my favorite Femforce covers. It's She-Cat, even though she somehow accidentally grows too large. Attack of the 50-foot. And I know her head is a little bit large for the actual picture, but I still love that cover. It's still one of my favorite covers of all time. Night Vale. Dragonfly, that's... I've never heard of Shade. Yeah, 2 more issues of that and I'll see if I can get it. Durango Kid, there's another one I'm not familiar with. Looks like one of their older reprinted issues of stuff. Now, also in this lot, there was 5 comics total. Those were the books I was looking for, but it also came with a couple others. It came with number 1 of 4, first issue of Alter Ego from First Comics. This came out in also 86, looks like. Same year as the others. And I have an issue or 2 of this laying around, and it looks good to me, but I have not read it. In fact, I don't know what issue I have, but I know I've seen it around. I didn't really care that it was in there. Whisper is another book that I would like to pick up some more of. I don't think I have any of anymore. This guy has an iron jaw. That's weird, because there's a Femforce villain that has an iron jaw as well. Like a whole iron face. Of course, I guess there's several villains. There's a Cops villain from the cartoon show Cops that has an iron jaw as well. So maybe that's more of a common villain trope than I'm thinking. And this is not She-Hulk. This is just a green lady. Looks like they're always advertising Shatter in here, which the first computerized comic, I don't know how I feel about it. Some people think I know it's revolutionary, I guess. I always thought it was visually hard to look at, and I mean, it looked outdated almost immediately. Did you miss last month's issue? Not a bad looking team there. Definitely has a vintage feel to it. Makes me wonder if it actually is vintage or if it was just copyrighted in the 80s to look vintage. Either way, Nexus. Ooh, another really good series from First. Anyway, that gets us on to this book, The Survivors. This is Prelude Graphics, which I thought might be somehow related to Heroic Graphics, but I don't think it is. And it is, well, it's 1986, same year. This is $1.95 an issue, so this was a pricey book for 1986, very, very much so. I think most Marvel books were like 60 cents at the time. But yeah, so this guy bringing in $1.95, pretty pricey. Now this is Steve Warren. First issue, 32 pages of story and art. And this is what I didn't understand. So this is The Survivors, October 86, issue number 1. But we get a thing that basically talks about our story thus far, and you get a lot of exposition of what's happened and what's going on. But the gist is that the year is 4010, and because of a computer error, 9 survivors awaken 2,000 years too late. And upon awakening, they lose a lot of their loved ones and friends and family. And basically, I don't know, it sounds a little bit like Futurama. They sleep and they wake up in the future. But they're like the only ones left, apparently. The art in it is good. It's very sci-fi oriented feel. There's lots of killer robots and things of that type. So if you're into that, go for it. And this is one of those books where I'm going to say, yeah, you should track that down. But good luck. It's pretty tough to find, considering that I'm always looking for books like this. Like, I'm always looking. Or at least, generally, I'm usually looking for books like this. But I had never heard of this until like 2 weeks ago. So that should tell you that it's not very common, because even when somebody's literally looking for them for that long, they don't see it. And I finally saw it. Good art, interesting stories. Starship Excalibur, blah, blah, blah. I'll leave that back page closed there. from what I can tell, there's only 2 issues. Like, I looked around because I was like, I've never heard of this. Is there any more issues? And it says Prelude Graphics, and then on the inside it says Sirius Comics. And I don't know if that's the same brand as Sirius. And see, this throws me too, because it says Sirius Comics in the corner, but it's got Hero Alliance. Well, Hero Alliance was, oh gosh, Innovation? I think Innovation made Hero Alliance, like a totally different publisher that I'm familiar with. So I don't know what the deal is, or where the origin of these are, or maybe there's more of these books from a different publisher, but these were the only Prelude Graphics ones I saw. And once I knew the name and what to look for, I still looked for them on eBay, and I think these are the only ones I could find. At least they're the only ones that came up on my search when I looked for them. I was like, Prelude Graphics, The Survivors, and this was it. And then I just tried Survivors comics, and I think I got a big mix of stupid stuff. But anyway, I was just impressed because, you know, I like weird books that are not normal, that are not run-of-the-mill. The 80s seemed to be the time where those existed. See, I can get Survivors back issues. I mean, some of those covers look pretty impressive, but I mean, these are pretty low print runs. So, I mean, you got me. I have no idea where these came from. Never heard of them until now. But that was my weird little comic book haul. And if I remember right, I paid $6.88. And then maybe like a couple bucks for shipping, but still, for what these are, and for the fact that I can get a couple AC titles in there, I think that was a pretty good deal. I'm very impressed with it. And if you see them, or if you're into books like that, at least you now know that these books exist. So take that to heart. And if you're into books like this, of course, whenever you see them, try and pick them up. Especially if you see them in a back issue bin for little or nothing. Because if you're going to try and buy these individual on eBay, these things can be quite expensive. But most people don't value them. So, unless you're looking for them. Anyway, that's my story. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you guys later. Bye.